This is Lawson Electronics. My video is going to be about they had a new version that came out on 12/3 of 2020, which is the new unified firmware 1.8.3, and we're going to go ahead and go through some of the new features and updates. I've updated this so far for almost 48 hours, and it's been very stable for myself. So far, they have made some feature changes, so they are going to be some things you may need to get used to. So how you update it, you'll come after you have like the 1.8 or whatever version you have. You'd come into the general settings. So you're going to come to the menu like this here, and then you're going to go ahead and go to settings. And under settings, you go to generally click on to check for updates. Make sure you download the file because it's going to look for your hard drive is how it pulls the file. And then when it recognizes that they have a new firmware update, it's going to go ahead and pull it. I would not recommend auto updating until you do your research and make sure it's going to work for your situation. Next thing I want to do, what happened is that you can also see that I updated the version of the Switch version 6.0.41. So I do have the newest Switch version I have, and they have made some minor changes on the desktop. I personally like the classic desktop here, so that's why I have it here, but you can make other options here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the settings here, and we're going to go to each of the sections here. This is the new there, so if you want to see what the new version looks like, this is the new version. So you can look at the different networks here, the different setups, and here's a threat management and all the settings for that, for the intrusion detection system. You do have the capability. It tells you, hey, by the way, if you're using a UDM Pro, it does cap your, when you use the intrusion detection system and provision systems, you are capped at 3.5 gigabits, but most times, most WAN connections are not going to be that fast, so you're probably not going to, unless you're like in a small business or a large business, you're probably not ever going to run into that situation. But this is there and great for a home consumer. But again, these are geared. Ubiquiti does gear these to the small businesses. I personally like using them on in a personal connection here. This does show your uptimes, tells you your connections here. I want to go ahead and go back to classic view because that's what I personally like. But if you don't, you can always go to the settings here. These are of course, the classic one. If you want to change the way the screen displays, and do you want to use we can actually have it so that it tells us when our timeout on the screen is, and we do have a new emblem that keeps them flashing here. If you want to automatic firmware updates, I probably recommend not doing that. But again, you do have the capability of having there. You can have email sent and tells you how you want to do the email sent. So you do have a lot of customizations here, and if you have a key for it. The next thing you want to also do here is we're going to go ahead and go ahead and you always look at the wireless. And if you go to the wireless settings, you will notice when you go to your capabilities, when you go to look at your guest network, when you go to your new settings here, you'll see a new Wi-Fi network. If you see it's guest, we do have some couple new options. Authentication type. You can have it where you can use Facebook Wi-Fi portal, extended Wi-Fi services, Facebook, password, voucher, WeChat, payment, and radius. So they do have a couple different options if you want to be able to sit up there and require them to have a portal, and you can do a portal design. So if you want to design your own hotspot, you do have the advanced, and the good news is you can finally separate the channels. So you can have a 2.4 and a 5 gigahertz, and you can always make it so instead of designing here, automatically picking up there, it does give there. I personally like having the auto capability, but again, not everyone may like that capability. So they do have those kind of options here. Touch authentications, your advanced options, goes through here. I have mine automatically each night to try to scan and tell me what the best channels are, and I have a lot of things set up, so we do have capabilities here. I want to go back to the classic view here because I prefer it better here. So they do have the Wi-Fi set up. You can create the networks. Here's the network information, all your connection with your VLANs. We go with the router case if you need to make your static routes, firewalls, portals, and now we have you can also go to directly go and select by country. So you can geo filter anything, so that way, hey, I don't want anything maybe for North Korea or whatever country you want to decide that you want to block or allow. You can have a certain access and territory, so you do have a lot of different choices depending on what country you want to have, so you can geo fence yourself. Threat management works really well. We got this is if you want to have your deep packet inspection. and it does give you a capability, so we can actually make exceptions now for the devices here. I enjoy that, but again, not everyone may not like that. I like to know what's going on in my network. You can enable guest portal with is what you can always do here, and then it allows you to be able to guest policy, so they will force any of these devices on certain groups. You always have your profiles and radius and switch profiles. Here's all your switch profiles. You can always do. We can edit them and change them and assign them to different devices here. Here is your services here. So you do have the capability of radius, DHCP, MDNS, or SIP, UDP, so you can know which networks have that capability. So if you need to be able to have it, so you do have there. You have your NTP service. You want to time your time and date schedule, and if you want to schedule an upgrade, you can also create that here. You got your user groups here, and if you want to make a user profile. We got a controller, so you can use if you have a domain, you can enable a domain override for the host controller. Now it does give you a real-time information here. You can put a API key if you have a Google Maps, and if you want to do cloud-based, or you can tell it to send an email, so you can have it so it automatically forwards it over to whatever kind of server it is. So that way, if you do get anything for attacking your network or what's going on or what kind of notifications, here's how you make the settings. So if you want to look at the dashboards here, I personally like these settings here, but again, you can always look at your own way of making basically what kind of configurations you want to have. Like, for example, here is, let's say, example, we want to go and look at the new dashboard. So we'll enable that. I don't like the new dashboard. We'll go ahead and go here in a second. We'll go ahead and re-enable that so we can actually see it here. So we want to go into new dashboard. We need to apply setting changes. It says UI settings changed here. So this is what it looks like if you want to go and see it here by default. It tells us at least learn a little bit more. So let's go ahead and we can learn more if we want to go over to here, and it talks a little bit more about the controls and what you can do here, and it does have some information. Does have a speed test, so it's telling us real-time usage right now on my network and how much I'm using compared to my connection and peak usage, and it tells me what I'm doing here. So it does give me a capability. It gives me a graph of the access points and gives you some basic information, but it tells me what devices are where. So it does give me some wired, wireless, guess, so I can see which devices are on my network, what it's using, and experience here. I can look at 5 days, 1 day here. Systems uptime, so, and that's what you can always see here. Utilization, I've had this updated here, so technically I've only had this up to about 24 hours, so I did update yesterday, so I did, sorry a bit, told you it was 40 hours, only been 24 hours since I actually had it there, but I did have a power outage yesterday, so that's the only way you see it, only an uptime of the day, but I have not seen any kind of issue since I've updated this to kind of test this out here. You can see the Wi-Fi usage here, and you can look at each band. It kind of tells you there. I have the setting that's turned on, so that way it automatically at 6 a.m. it automatically goes and pulls up the capability. It basically pulls it up here. Run a speed test. We can pull this here. So we'll go. I'm going to go ahead and go back to we're going to go back to controller interfaces. I prefer the classic dashboard first here. So we're going to apply that setting here. Then this is the new client page. So we go, here's the old one here. So let's go ahead and go to clients. Here's the old client page. Kind of gives you some basic information here. I actually kind of like the new client page better than the old one, so we're going to go and I'm going to back enable that, but this is what it looks like here. So we're going to go to user interface, new client browser here. Apply here. So my network and utilization, it goes through that one. It tells me I have excellent network connection here. So we're going to go back to client list here. And this gives me a lot more information here on what that looks like. I like the new interface. The uptime tells me the data, kind of a cleaner look onto wired devices, wireless. So it does give me a little bit more information here. Just like anything else, it has the generate information here. What groups, how much data you're using, the history. So we're just going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and click on one of the S10s here. Shows me when it goes up and down, tells me what time everyone's on here. We go to the deep packet inspection. It tells us what everyone's using, what services they're using here. So it does give you a capability of kind of seeing what's going on in your network. So it is very good. It tells you what kind of operating system, what device, and what it is here. So it has been here. It's nice because if you want to go and block a connection, it's really easy to do. Or if I want to tell to something to reconnect, it's a new button that says reconnect. So I can go ahead and we'll say here, we're going to go ahead and pull this one here and tell it to reconnect it here. So what happens, that disconnects the device and forces a reconnect. So that's kind of a nice thing. So maybe a device is not working right, or you may get it wrong information. We can at least give it the time to kind of say, hey, this is a new connection here, and then it's going to reconnect if it back on the network. So you do have capabilities of, hey, I need to make sure what's going on the wireless, so you can force devices to reconnect here. Block, reconnect, so those are the ways you can be able to do it. So there is a lot of more options you have. You can look at alerts, so if you want to see what's going on in your network, and you can always archive them. So this is what, if you want to kind of see what are here, this is a threat management, really hasn't changed anywhere. Lets you look at the traffic, looks at the logs, where you're going to, what your assist system is. If you have any honey pots are all set up here, you do have those kind of capabilities. Here's the map of it, just like anything else. Topography hasn't really changed any here. We can look at the floor plan. I don't have anything created, but you can also do there. You look at your floor plan. If you placed it on there, tells you utilization here. You can run the speed test like normal. It just there. So really the only new display, one of the biggest things with the new displays compared to the old ones here. I personally like having the older display on here for the, like, anything from the profiles to guest access. I do like, there is some new features that are really nice on this, so it does give us a lot more capabilities. I do like the newer updates here. Again, I have been trying it for about 48 hours. If my power didn't go out yesterday, I would have an update of over 40 hours, because I haven't seen anything even with yesterday before my power went out. I didn't see any kind of issues from it. Had air cushion trip one of my breakers, so it's there. I do like it in this. It does give you a lot of options here for you. So you do have a lot of options you can be able to see here. Top left, top right alerts. You're going to have your backups, which is a good idea to probably make here. Compact your databases there. Check firmware updates. Download support information. Show configuration. Check and make sure there's not any newer software updates. There's all your event logs. You can always take a look at them. So if you want to email push them, you can, this is how you can do here. Threat management systems. What do you want to have? Email push, alerts, events. So you do have capabilities here. Tells you a lot of information about somebody mislogging in, all your information here. So it kind of gives you a lot of alerts of what you're looking for. So you do have a lot of settings here that you can use. So this is the unified new update. So here it looks like we can tell this is telling us there is some wireless interference, because you can see on these channels, the last time they picked up here, that they are picking up some interferences on those channels. We can also run a speed test here. And being only ascribed to 400 meg, I think for what I'm paying for, I'm getting above what I'm paying for, so I can't complain. In this area, Spectrum's done a really good job on the internet in this here. So Again, this is a hardwire directed to the back of it, so they always gear you up a little higher on your bin file in there. You can tell right there. They're running amazingly fast for the internet connection. It's going to vary per area, but again, I've had this. This is running really smooth. I like it having multiple addresses. I like the VLAN capability, so that's one thing I do like about the UDBN Pro. I do like the higher bandwidth, and I do have a nano access point, so I do like it, so I can have multiple configurations and multiple radios, and it has multi-channel MIMO on it, so it is really nice here for what it is. But this is just more of a review on the updates on this software here. If you like the content I went over today, you can always prefer. It would be nice if you would go and click onto that subscribe button. I do appreciate in there, and if you have any kind of comments or feedbacks, please leave it some comments and feedbacks. Feedback, I would definitely be more than glad to try to review that and look at it and see what I can do to happen to keep on improving my videos. Because again, the content I'm here just to try to help out my audience here. So I'm going to. So this is what the video is going to be about today. Is about how to be able to, with all the updates with the UDN Pro. I know when I first started with this software, it's great to have the community. I also go to the Facebook, and I also go try to work on that community there too. More we work together, kind of just like the Cisco community is more that the Biquity groups work together. The more we can help and improve this and help with try to maybe even help with the Biquity to keep it and improve their product, because I think they've got some great hardware. I think they're still working a lot on their software side of it. So more of the community, we can be able to kind of let them know that what they need help with, we should be able to keep on improving their software, because more we can allow them to succeed, the more we can be able to keep this line running here. So I enjoy my UDM Pro from it. I've only had one issue after the last firm update. It fixed it, but I have not seen anything else there. I've used VPN connections, used game consoles. I have multiple there, so I'm only a home consumer using it. I know it's going to be completely different for a small business thing, but I do work from home, and it's amazing. It works well. I was using the default router, which is my old Sagecom, through my ISP, and I just couldn't get connection. My VPN, I was always having problems with using the soft phone through my company, and ever since I used the UDM Pro, I have not seen any problems. It's mostly probably because of the way that it has a resources handling. It's nice to be able to have a router that can handle it, especially when I do have multiple computers and multiple devices connected at the same time. And I have a nice thing. I do like the screen on it, and this has just been a great product. And again, this is not a sponsorship for Biquity at all. This is just some of my personal opinions, and this is all my own views here. I don't have any sponsorships. I don't have anybody swaying my view by any kind of free products or anything. It's just I purchased the unit, and I keep on trying to give back to the community, because of the fact that if I like a product, I'm going to there. I like to try to make a video about it and kind of go through everything.